Hi friends, I am back today to share what is on my summer reading list. I'm going to preface this with I have a giant stack of books here and chances are I am not going to get through them all, so don't think that I am just gonna sit around reading all summer. I do also have a huge long list of other things that I plan to tackle over the summer. So some of these will be read as paper books. Some of them will also be downloaded as audiobooks. So we'll see how many I get through. But this is the list of books that I am hoping to get through. And I have a stack of books for myself that I just think I'm going to enjoy reading, and a stack of books that I want to pre-read for my kids, or ones that they have already gotten through that I didn't get a chance to screen before they grabbed them. So I'm going to start with the ones on my own reading list. I do think that it is super important for parents to model reading for pleasure to their kids, so that their kids can really understand that reading is such a joy and something that God gifted to us, and that it's something that they're gonna to want to do because they see us doing it. So I'm thankful that I am a person who just does naturally enjoy reading. So if you are not one of those people, I would encourage you to try to just, be seen reading a book in front of your kids if possible. But also audiobooks are really great for that. My husband doesn't really enjoy reading, but he does really enjoy listening to audiobooks, and the kids really enjoy listening to those with him as well. So here we go. So first up is actually a devotional book. I love a good fairy tale, and I found this, the God of the Fairy Tale, Finding Truth in the Land of Make-Believe. This goes through 20 different fairy tales or fairy stories, kids stories mostly, and finds a scriptural message in each of them. I am not entirely sure how it's going to go. I haven't read this before. I haven't actually even read anything by this author, Jim Ware. But it looked really intriguing. So I'm going to be picking this up and doing some of these. These are devotions, so I'll be doing these in my quiet time. Second book that I have is Emma. So I have just finished listening to this on audio. I will be going through this book a little bit at a time as I prepare to write a musical version of this story. So that is one of the things on my list of things to do this summer, is to get the rough draft of Emma the musical put together and ready to go. So big aspirations, you guys. So if you're a praying person watching this video, please pray for me as I try to tackle that. I am continuing to work my way through Steeped in Stories. So this is a book, if you haven't seen some of my other videos where I talk about it, I talk about it in my mom morning basket, so I'll link that below. This is by Matali Perkins. It is, she has grown up loving classic literature, and this is a book of essays about, I think, 7 different classic novels. So I'm working my way through the classic novels and then reading her essay on each one. I'm really enjoying that. So the one I'm working on right now is Little Women. I'm actually listening to it, but I do have a hard copy so I could show it for the video. But I have gotten through, let me see which ones are on this list. I've already read Anne of Green Gables, Heidi, and The Hobbit. I'm about halfway through Little Women, and then there's also A Little Princess, The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, and a book called Emily of Deep Valley by Maud Hart Lovelace, and I'm having a hard time finding that one. So if anybody has a really good idea for where to pick that up, I would totally love to hear where I would find that. My library does not have it. So the next book that I have, a few that I have been collecting over the last few months, and I'm hoping to get some of them read so that I can buy the 3 books that are in my list to buy. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak is one of those. It is a book about 1939 Nazi Germany. Liesel Meminger finds her life changed when she unearths a single object from the snow. It is the gravedigger's handbook left there by accident at her brother's funeral, and it is her first act of book thievery. But these are dangerous times. When Liesel's foster family hides a Jewish man in their basement, Liesel's world is both opened up and closed down. In a superbly crafted prose that burns with intensity, award-winning author Marcus Zuzak has given us one of the most enduring stories of our time. So I'm really excited to read this one over the summer. I have had lots of recommendations for this book, so I'm really excited to dig into that. The next one, I bought this in September, thinking that I was going to read it to go along with the anniversary of the Twin Towers falling for 9/11, and I didn't get it read. I read the I Survived 9/11 book with my kids, but did not get to read this one. This is an adult book, a memoir by one of the people who worked in the towers but wasn't there that day. So I want to say I'm looking forward to reading it. It's kind of weird to read a book about a tragedy that happened in my own lifetime, and so I'm kind of not sure how I feel about it, but I'm going to be reading this because it's kind of been haunting me for months. And then when Target had their sale on, like, I think it was like buy 2 get 1 free books, I picked up this one. I'm not gonna lie, I totally judged a book by its cover with this because look at how beautiful it is. Anyway, this book is The Lost Apothecary, and I will read you the excerpt about it. Hidden in the depths of the 18th century London, a secret apothecary shop caters to an unusual kind of clientele. Women across the city whisper of a mysterious figure named Nella who sells well-disguised poisons to use against the oppressive men in their lives. Nella's dark world is no place for her newest patron, a precocious 12-year-old girl named Eliza Fanning. But their unexpected bond... Why can't I talk? Okay, their unexpected bond sparks a string of consequences that echoes through the centuries. 200 years later, aspiring historian Caroline Parswell discovers an aged apothecary vial in the River Thames. As she is newly grappling with the searing betrayal of her husband's infidelity, a curious research project is exactly the distraction Caroline needs. But when she discovers a link between the vial and London's long unsolved apothecary murders, Caroline's upended present soon collides with an explosive history, binding her fate to Nella's and Eliza's in a stunning twist that transcends the barrier of time. Totally sounds great. I love a good mystery. I'm excited for that one. So I'm going to read all of these before I allow myself to buy any new books. I am a book junkie, so I buy tons of books. I have a short list of I want to read The Last Bookshop in London, The Dictionary of Lost Words, and The Downstairs Girl also. So before I allow myself to buy those books, I'm going to read this stack of books first. I do also have a stack of books that I want to read for my kids. So a couple of them are, actually several of them are previews that I want to read before I allow them into my kids' hands. And then a couple of them one of them, this one right here, I have been working on this for a little while. The Wing Feather Saga. This is the first one. It's on the edge of the dark sea of darkness. And you guys, this is really excellent, and I highly recommend it. I have not gotten all the way through it yet. I have just about 50 pages left of it. I am in a very busy season of my life, and so like sitting down to actually read a paper book is really difficult right now. But as soon as this weekend is over and my play is done, I will probably zip through this and finish it up. But I'm super excited about this. It's an adventure story about, let's see, Janner, Tink, and Lily Igby and their trusty dog Nugget, and as they escape from the vicious fangs of Dang, who seek the lost jewels of Anira. Quirky characters and their world of wonders from the edge of the dark sea of darkness to the deadly Glipwood forest and beyond set the stage for this epic adventure. So it's really silly. So I feel like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings-esque, but it's you know, an easier reading level, and it's super funny. So highly recommend if you are looking for an adventure novel for your kids or for yourself. I am currently listening to this on audio because of my library app. So I use Libby, sometimes Overdrive for audiobooks through the library system, so I don't have to use credits on Audible or buy them on Audible. And this is one that I'm listening to. I actually really recommend listening to it because it's a really fun listen. This is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. It is a beautiful, the telling of this story is very beautiful. The words that the author chooses to use, her descriptions of things are just, it's so well done. If you are not into magic though, then this is not the book for you, because it is definitely about a witch, and a little girl who is full of magic. So, there is, I'm only about halfway through it, so it's hard to say, but let me read the back. Every year the people of the Protectorate leave a baby as an offering to the witch who lives in the forest to keep her from terrorizing their town. But the witch Zan is really kind and gentle. She shares her home with a wise swamp monster and a perfectly tiny dragon. Zan rescues the children and delivers them to welcoming families on the other side of the forest. One year, Zan accidentally feeds a baby Moonlight, filling the ordinary child with extraordinary magic. Zan decides she must raise the girl, whom she calls Luna, as her own. As Luna's 13th birthday approaches, her magic begins to emerge with unpredictable consequences, just when it's time for Zan to go collect another child. Meanwhile, a young man is determined to free his people by killing the witch, and a volcano, dormant for centuries, rumbles within the earth. Anyway, like I said, super beautiful language in this book. So far, I have found nothing that would keep me from letting my kids read it. Another one that I have picked up to read before I hand it to my kids is Brown Girl Dreaming. This actually is written in verse, so it's a book of basically it's poetry, but this is kind of this author Jacqueline Woodson shares her childhood growing up as an African American in the 1960s and 1970s. Touching and powerful, her story is both accessible and emotionally charged, each line a glimpse into a child's soul as she searches for her place in the world. So it seems like it's going to be such a good read and such a good thing for my kids to read also, but I definitely want to read it first. It's won several awards, as you can see here on the cover, but I'm kind of trying to make sure that I can diversify my kids' reading, and I think you can kind of tell with some of the choices here. So I was really kind of clued into the fact that I'm not doing that as well as I should be by this Steeped in Stories book, and so I'm making a more conscious effort in that direction. So next up, I got sucked in by a Facebook ad, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. Look at the beautiful cover art of these books. These books are written by Ted Decker and Rochelle Decker, and they are Christian fiction. And honestly, I didn't really read the descriptions of these as well as I thought I had, because when I read them today in preparation for this video, I was like, what? What did I buy? I'm sure they're fine. But you'll see why. It is said a child will lead them, but lead them where? Jack is just 12, born on an ark orbiting Earth among 169 survivors of a global apocalypse who eagerly await the planet's restoration so that they can return to the surface. With supplies dangerously low, the time for waiting is over. Humanity must return now or die among the stars. Unfortunately, there is a problem, a big one. Dragons have inexplicably risen from Earth's ashes. Worse, they emit a global toxin deadly to all over the age of puberty. After much debate, the Ark's leaders realize that humanity's only hope is to send teams of specially trained children to hunt and eliminate the Dragon Queen. But Jack is frail and deemed unworthy for the dangerous mission. So begins a tale that leads readers, young and old alike, on a journey with Jack, the child who will lead them, all in the most unlikely of ways. A journey to an Earth they could not have imagined, an Earth where humanity's fear takes physical form as dragons that can only be defeated through a love that casts out all fear. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that this is just a silly read. You can see from the inside it's going to be a quick one. So I think my kids are probably going to enjoy it, but it's probably going to be not, super affirming or whatever. So, and then the last one on my table right in front of me is Percy Jackson. I have not read this. My kids, as you can tell by the worn appearance of this book, have read it several times. They in fact have read this entire series several times, and we got a sequel to the series, another series written by Rick Riordan, that they have also read. So before I pass on any kind of recommendation on it, I want to read through it myself. This is probably one that I will listen to on an audio, as an audiobook. So that is my plan for summer reading. Like I said, I probably will listen to a lot of them on audio because I can do that while I am doing other things. I love listening to audiobooks while I'm cleaning, while I'm driving places, things like that. So that's probably how I'm going to get through a lot of these. But obviously I do have the hard copies. So if I can sit down with the hard copy in my hands, that is what I like to do. So wish me luck as I try to get through this giant stack of books, and let me know in the comments what your summer reading plans consist of, or if any of these sound amazing to you as well. I will see you guys next week in my next video.